Imagine sprinting a marathon. Crazy, right? Every day, though, as leaders, as small business owners, we go full throttle on meetings, on tasks, and we don't ever refuel. What if I told you that the secret weapon to prevent burnout is managing your energy, not just your time? Today, I'm going to share one simple tip that is going to allow you to tap into more sustained focus and drive for your business. Stick around because I'm going to give you a 3-step energy plan to help you power through even those toughest days. Let's go. So it's the 5-5-5 rule. 5 squats, 5 deep breaths, and then 5 sips of water. Powerful. The first time I thought, this ain't gonna work. Leadership is about effectiveness and it's about resilience. What is one positive aspect in this challenge or in this trying time or in this stressful moment? Your mind needs clarity and purpose. And when our mind has clarity and purpose, it releases this dopamine. Hey everyone, John here. Welcome to today's episode. In your day-to-day, you handle client work, you're handling your team activities, you're handling all the daily tasks that go along with running a business, running an organization, or running a team. And raise your hand if by midday you're exhausted. You just feel like your tank is empty. But guess what? You keep on pushing and you keep on pushing through. I got one more meeting. I got one more task. This sound like anybody out there? Yeah. I catch myself in when I get into those routines, that fatigue towards the midday and especially as late afternoon occurs, it kills my creativity. You know, one thing that I pride myself on is being productive, but when I'm fatigued, my productivity and my creativity decrease. Ultimately, it's just a matter of time, profits decrease. So today we're going to talk about 3 routines that are going to help you lead at full power. Let's dig into this because you're not going to want to miss any one of these. Routine 1, building our physical energy. And this is important. And I'm not talking about working out here. What I'm talking about is building energy that it can be sustained throughout the day. One of the important things that people don't realize, our body's just like an engine. And if you own a car, if you own a motorcycle, if you own anything that has an engine in it, do you have to put fuel in the engine? What happens if you don't change the oil? What happens if you don't maintain that engine over time? What is going to occur? It's going to break down. It's going to seize up. But why do we do that then with our bodies? Why do we continue to push through the day even when we're hitting that wall and not take a minute to refuel? So what are you talking about, John? How can I fix this? 2 things. 1, create a morning ritual. I find when I start the day on my best 2 feet, I carry that energy throughout the day. So take 10 minutes in the morning. I like to journal. Doesn't have to be journal. You can move, you can go out and stretch, you can ground, whatever your day looks like. Get out in the sun, walk around, just be outside, and that's going to absorb energy. There's energy all around us, whether you believe it or not. And when we take in that energy, it will get us through at least to midday. And then at midday, do another one of these. Do another break, time out, schedule it in your calendar, get out, go outside, get some sun on your face, walk around. Simple, easy technique to get that energy back inside where it needs to be. That way you can exert it in your meetings, in your afternoon tasks to get you through the end of the day. Another great way is stacking my snacks. I'm a big snack person. And I intermittent fast. So during the morning, I try not to eat, till about 10 or 11 o'clock. And for me, when I start snacking, when I break my fast, I always try to break it with protein. And I may or may not mix a little bit of carbs. But throughout the day, as I snack, what happens is I always make sure to ingest protein with my carbs so you don't get that crash. Because if we don't have the fuel to go with the carbs, the protein with the carbs, what happens is we get an initial rush of sugar and then ultimately it's that crash. But that protein is going to help us sustain our energy throughout the day. And you can find all sorts of snacks. I like, little protein bars. I'll do little beef sticks, beef jerky sticks. There's tons of things out there that you can do to mix your protein and your carbs. One thing that I also like to do, I call it the 5-5-5 rule. And this is something that my health coach, my fitness coach, had me start doing. So this is great. Again, you can go outside, but you don't have to. You can do it in your desk. So it's the 5-5-5 rule. 5 squats, 5 deep breaths, and then 5 sips of water. Powerful. The first time I thought, this ain't going to work. Trust me. Takes less than really 10, maybe 15 seconds. 5 squats, 5 deep breaths, 5 sips of water. I know that's going to help maintain that energy, but make it a routine because, again, we want to get these things programmed into our daily habits and our routine because it's important during this summertime where we're mid-year assessment. We're figuring out, okay, we're going to get over this summer slump. That's what this season is all about. These energy routines will help maintain us through summer into fall. And then guess what? We just continue doing them. Great routines. So the second routine I'm going to talk about today is conducting these emotional energy checks. And you got to remember, our mood and our mindset play into the energy that we bring to our meetings, to our conversations, to our team. So leadership is about effectiveness and it's about resilience. And when we really focus on this mood and this mindset, it helps us not only when we interact with our teams, but also when we are task oriented, when we're on a task and we're deep into whatever we need to get into. We've got to get it completed, making sure you do tasks when you have peak energies are important. So let's dig into one of the applications I love to do here. Midday pulse checks. Midday pulse checks can happen at noon, whenever your midday is. If you work nights, whatever that mid-afternoon or midnight pulse check, I want you to rate your stress. Rate it from 1 to 10. So anything that is above a 7, I want you to ask yourself this one simple question. What is one positive aspect in this challenge or in this trying time or in this stressful moment? It gets your mind thinking positively, leaves the negatively. Now you're proactive. Now you're moving forward. You're not stuck or moving backwards. It's a great question to ask yourself. And I can promise you there's always one positive thing, even in the darkest of times. So the win here, I love to do this, is words of affirmation. And when I started doing this, people thought I was absolutely crazy. And you may be thinking that as well. Right? But put yourself in this position. When we begin to get energy drained, we're exhausted during that midday, and we maybe have some big meetings after lunch, and we begin to, I don't want to go to that meeting. It's going to be hard. I have a difficult presentation. That begins to snowball. So we're building up this story in our minds about how difficult something is going to be in the afternoon session. Instead, so my stress would probably be at an 8 or a 9 there, right? Especially if it had to do with maybe marketing a new client, acquisitions, any kind of strategy, whatever that looks like. But 8 or 9 stress level, I'd pause and ask myself, what is one positive aspect to this afternoon session? One positive thing is I could gain another client. One positive thing could be now, I have to go hire more people because I got more work. It flips your mind and it gets you moving in the right direction, especially how you look in that afternoon session. In the morning, I find that for me, I stay pretty positive. It's throughout the day, as the day just wears on you and wears on you and wears on you, that your energy begins to decrease. And then along with that, remember that frustration comes on, that really you get short, fused, where maybe your patience isn't as good as it was in the morning. So powerful, really routine here that you can do. Energy checks throughout the day. Notice where your energy is, because that's going to be important when we talk about this third routine, and that is practicing mental and strategic energy planning. So stay with me here. Your mind needs clarity and purpose. And when our mind has clarity and purpose, it releases this dopamine. And dopamine does what? Dopamine allows us to really get that rush. It's similar to whenever you hit the jackpot, or if you're, a gambler, your numbers hit, or if you're betting on horses, your horses hit, or whatever that looks like for you. But when we gain that clarity and purpose, that's what the dopamine rush is like. It's like winning the lottery. So for here, some really good applications is this energy mapping. I mentioned for me, my energy flows throughout the day. In the morning, I get out of bed, I do my gratitude, my 3 things of gratitude, gets me in that positive mindset, gets me going. My feet hit the ground. I do a quick stretch. I drink my water. That's my routine. And then I'm going. My energy is at the peak. And I know that because why? I've mapped that out. So it's important here to understand where your peaks are and where your valleys. I know that probably towards that 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. hour, that's when I got that valley. That's when I'm starting to dip. And it may even carry on to 2. And it's going to become important why I'm telling you this or why we need to map this out. So that's my valley. And then when I get home, I get another burst of energy. That's when I do a lot of my tasks around the house. That's when I record my podcast. That's when I'm doing a lot of things on my business. So my energy goes back up. And then, it tails off by the time I go to bed. I have a set bedtime, set an alarm for your bedtime. Very important. You set it to wake up. Do it for bedtime as well. Get your sleep. We're not talking about sleep in this piece to maintain your energy, but if you are sleep deprived, none of these routines are going to work. So sleep, get your sleep, try it on. I want to take a quick break from the episode today to talk about a couple things. The first thing, less than 40% of our listeners are subscribed to our channel. You would be doing me a huge favor if you click on that subscribe button. It helps us grow our Go Be Great community and get this podcast out to as many people as we possibly can. The second thing, are you a small business owner that is drowning in the day-to-day operations? You're delegating tasks and you're still doing all the work. You're experiencing a high turnover. Maybe you don't have the systems and processes in place that you need to run a successful business. I invite you to go over to thejohnespinosa.com, fill out the form to see if you're the right fit. Now back to the episode. Now, you've mapped your energy. Why does that matter, John? Because here comes the strategic part. We're going to fold in task alignment. So what I want you to do is I want to schedule my high focus tasks when my energy is up. So in the mornings, I put all of my high focus things. That doesn't mean meeting with people. I'm not talking about setting all your meetings in the morning because then you will definitely hit a slump, midday, and now you might not recover because that's going to be a greater hill to climb. But in the morning, if I have a report, if I have something I need to review, if I have something that I need very high focus, that could be a meeting, I do it. Why? Because I know that my energy is at the highest. And then as things dip, that doesn't mean that you just stop working. Take your break. Go outside, take that 10 minutes, stretch, get some sunlight, but then you can do low task things. Like that's when I approve maybe things that are waiting in the queue, or I'll knock out some emails that, I flagged that are just kind of FYI, or they've CC'd you on those emails. So you're still getting tasks done, but it's low focus, really just moving paperwork around your desk, whatever that, metaphorical paperwork around your desk. But I know when to do those things based on my energy, my peaks and my valleys. So when we talk about practicing mental and strategic energy planning, that is going to help you stay productive throughout the day and allow you to maintain that energy 8, 10, 12 hours if that's your work day. So one of the things here, let's recap because it's very important, and get out your journals. I got my journal out this morning. I was energized to talk about energy today, because this is one thing that a lot of people struggle with. I notice this when I set my coaching meetings. I always ask, okay, where's your energy peak? Because I'm going to, this is going to be pretty intense and I'm going to bring the energy. Guess what? You're going to need to bring the energy. So let's schedule something at those peaks. So for me, building my routine around how to refuel, recharge that battery, to maintain that engine that we're going to run. And we're going to continue to run day after day after day, which is our bodies, our mind. The second thing we talked about was conducting emotional energy checks. So you got to have an awareness of where you're at. Scale of 1 to 10. Are you stressed? And if you are stressed, then, again, we want to get back into that positive mindset. So what is one positive thing that's coming out of this challenge or this stressful situation? And then the last one we talked about is practicing this mental and strategic energy planning. So once we identify where our troughs and our peaks are, then we're going to plan our high focus activities at the peaks and our low focus activities at the troughs. Every single bit of this is common sense. It's just not common practice. So my challenge for you, take one of these activities, take one of these routines, put them into action tomorrow. This is the energy management trifecta. I want you to take it, implement it, and then let me know how it works for you. I believe in you. Go be great. Talk to everyone later. Bye-bye. If you like what you're hearing, do us a favor, click on that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, or leave a comment. That lets us know that what we are putting out benefits you. If you want additional information or resources or learn how to work with me, head on over to thejohnespinosa.com, because when we become better versions of ourselves, it helps us get others to where they're going. Go be great. Talk to everyone later.